There you go.
Bill, Jay.
Dylan, what's going on? Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Taking over KW Canada, this guy.
Just adding value, that's all. October 15th.
$131. We're going to give it a couple of minutes. We find everyone seems to come in from between 1:30 and 1:35. So we start do a hard start at 1:35.
Perfect.
Used to be a universal truth.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what area you're in. I've had that happen just about everywhere.
Exactly.
Dylan, what a difference a year makes, right?
What a difference a year makes from
I mean, a year ago, I was in Hamilton with you and Bold.
You sure were.
And then you had the big the big event you put on.
We sure did.
So amazing what all's gone on in the last 12 months.
And here we are.
Yes. Well, I'm excited for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm excited to fill up your bold pivot room and use some leverage to add value to our agents team or their world and their business.
Awesome.
We're going to like that.
I love that.
I did Tony Robbins Leadership Academy this weekend. So I have good frog, bad frog, A and B, mirror and matching, like love.
Did they send those to you in the mail?
It all came to me in the mail. I missed the good frog, bad frog part.
Why can't I hear it?
Hey team, people are still filtering in, but we're gonna get started. we figured that without kind of a big announcement heading that, big news is happening, not as many people are coming online. So we're going to come up with some really great headings to put out there for you every 2 weeks to get you online and into this meeting and this chat. As we know, the more we do this, the more we get out of it and we're able to connect with each other. So welcome to those of you that are here. Happy Tuesday afternoon.
Happy Tuesday afternoon.
We're back in the office after Thanksgiving weekend. For a lot of us, it meant a lot of food and family time, maybe some outdoor walks. We said this morning actually on our Facebook Live. Dylan and I every Tuesday morning at 10:30 are doing Facebook Live, where it's Dylan doing a bit of a tutorial teaching on things that he's learned over the years that have really made a difference in his life and his business. So it gives you guys an opportunity to get to know who this guy is, which is really neat because he's come on the scene. And especially with it being a time of year or a time that we're in at the moment where we're not connected as we usually are, this gives you a really good opportunity to figure out who he is and get to know him more. So that's 10:30s every Tuesday, Facebook Live. And
10:30-ish.
Yes. So ish, you guys might know, like ish used to be like a big word these days. And we didn't start right at 10:30 today as we were figuring out the technical difficulties and issues that we were having around Facebook Live, which we worked through and got through.
Sure did.
And then had a great session.
We did.
Yeah.
And you can the best part about the Facebook Live is you can go back and watch it over and over again. So if there's something specifically that we cover that you want to dive deeper into, I'm happy to do that one-on-one. And you can continue to go back and rewatch it over and over again until you actually nail that business and explode.
There we go. Awesome. Yeah, this morning Dylan spoke about the 4th level team. And for any of you, those of you that were on, you would have gotten a sense of what he was talking about. It's all coming from the MREA. And it's just this whole idea of the realtor hiring their admin and their admin before hiring buyer agents, which I feel like in our market, at least, a lot of realtors aren't doing it that way. And when we do follow the models and the systems, we find that sometimes we fail, there's failures to be had and we fail forward, but other times we learn from those failures and we're able to pull it all back together and grow it to a bigger and better level than it was originally. So that's what we spoke about this morning.
Sure did. I shared some of the failures. We'll dive into it. We'll go a little deeper next week as well and really explain what a 4th level team could look like for your business because it's extremely exciting. I look at it as the 4th level team in our market is actually $1 million net business. So your 6th or 7th level that the MREA talks about where you're able to net $1 million, you can do in Toronto probably a 3rd or a 4th level team, which is really exciting for all of us. So just wanted to really cover that at a high level and then if you guys want to dive deeper into it, obviously have one-on-one conversations with you about that.
So you may have noticed actually in your calendars, there was a placeholder for today's town hall, as well as the 10:30 Facebook, live Facebook session that we held. And what we figured out as part of our tech learning is that anytime you're doing a Google Calendar now, do you notice that Google puts in their own Google Meets link? And it comes right through on your Google Calendar. And what we've learned is that you actually have to click that off if you don't want to actually have that be a part of what you send out. So we just want you to know we're updating that. So it's going to be out of there. And when you're joining us, it will be the Zoom calls that we're doing on our KW and our agents page where you can access them. And Facebook Live, it is on Facebook. So it's not the Google Meets. And again, we're learning.
We can probably actually move these town halls to a Facebook Live as well, so that if someone isn't able to attend in person, that they'll be able to go back and watch specific areas of it as well if we want to update that. So lots of tech stuff that we're learning. I'm sure Jay can talk for days about that. That's how I really got to know Jay Cermak. So I'll want to introduce Jay.
Yeah, go for it.
You do this. You start this one off.
Well, sure. So we have 2 guests with us today, which is really exciting. And they're south of the border, both of them, I believe, right? Jay,
Yes.
Oh, you're both in Florida. Okay, great. Awesome. So welcome. Thanks for being here. They're here to talk to us about Bold today, Jay and Bill, and give us a sense of what's coming what's coming up, and how Bold is now obviously online and a bit different than it was live, but they're here to give us some insight into Bold and why Bold is as great as it is. So Jay and Bill will let you guys take over there.
So Jay, I'm going to let you start.
All right, so I get to start. Awesome. Yeah, so we're excited about the new Bold that's coming. And if you've taken Bold before, even if you took it this year, it's constantly evolving. And that's what I love with our leadership team. So Bill's definitely going to talk more on that side of it. I'll share just personally. I have actually been through Bold 8 times. This will be my 9th. Can we get someone to mute? Whoever's having fun chat. Awesome. I've actually taken it 8 times and it's truly transformed my life. I'm sure Dylan can definitely attest to that. I know Bill can as well. And what's different with this one is we found the way now, we've gotten our groove on how do we do this virtually. Right? We're doing this right now. You guys are probably in your room, or I see Michael's in Paris. He's having a great time with his virtual background, right? And this is the new way of living. However, there's a huge opportunity to network, right? I'm in Fort Lauderdale right now. Bill's actually on the 1st floor. I'm on the 3rd, and you guys are out there in Canada, and we can network together. We can collaborate together, scripted role play, and that's a lot of what Bold's doing now. So don't think about the Bold room of 100 people that you all know, and it's the same people in your office. Imagine if Bold was 30, 40, 50,000 people around the world. How much more could you get productive, and who in the room are you with now? So the neat thing is Bold's going to actually pair you guys up. It's going to help you with script and role play partners. It's totally transformed. There's coaching corners, and there's way more value. And the kind of mic drop to me is the price is, it's $100. So not the $7.99 price tag you've ever heard before. For $100, you get the opportunity to network and be together with over 30, 40,000 people, right, Bill? We're going to keep growing that up. And it's a different way of doing it. And it's kind of right now the new normal. The new normal is how do I interact with people? Because guess what? Your clients are doing this. Your clients are having to do a home. They're now having to become school teachers, and they're having to remote to work through the Zoom calls. So you need to make sure you're available wherever the client is as well. So that's a lot of the value there. And one of the things I want to do, because what Bill, myself, and your leadership team really want to do is add value to you. So if you wouldn't mind, Adriana, can you someone give me access to screen share? I want to give you a quick 2-minute tip on just something you could do for technology-wise with Command. Go ahead.
You're good, Jay.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to share really quick here my Google Chrome, and hopefully everyone by now has been inside of Command. So if you haven't heard of Command, it is this new platform we've been working on, and I've been labbing for over 3.5 years now. So the biggest thing in our business is follow-up. Are you following up consistently, and do we remember to follow up? I'll be the first to admit I'm guilty. I don't always remember to. So one of the first things we did was came out with Smart Plans over a year ago, and just the basics like, hey, maybe a quarterly call plan. Remember to call everybody every 90 days. Well, I want to show you what's brand new, and that is there's a library now, and you don't have to build a Smart Plan from scratch anymore. This is kind of like an app store for Smart Plans. And you already have the ones from Keller Williams, so you might recognize these inside of the Smart Plans button and the library. These 10 have been here for the last year. You'll actually see the published date was October 2nd, 2019. Here's what's different. If you scroll down, now we have a whole section of top rated, like Marty Miller's 60/60 challenge. If you haven't seen his, he's actually got a Facebook lead follow-up. You've got people in here sharing their 5x5x5s, missing email Smart Plan, a monthly call, all kinds of great content that's actually now being rated. So imagine a Netflix-like experience for Smart Plans so that you don't have to wonder if this works or not. You can actually see who's rating it and what they're doing. They've even got it in other languages as well. And then there's even a new section now of everything that's new. And here's what I love, the simplicity of this. So if I were to choose one, like, hey, you know what? I want to actually find one. Let me pull up Marty's, since that's an easy one, since it's right there. So I'm going to pick Marty's and say, you know what? I want to add this Smart Plan. By the way, you can view the steps if you aren't sure what it does. So if I say view steps, it actually breaks down for you what everything is with scripts, text that you can copy and paste, or if you get the ability to use Twilio, you can auto send. And it's just the ability to take something that I didn't have to create from scratch. Because I don't know if you're like me, not everyone wants to build something from scratch. And a lot of you have all said, hey, where's that 36 touch? Where's that Smart Plan? I can just hit apply to. That's what this does. And to me, it elevates our Smart Plan, follow-up plan, and it's super easy to do. I'm not going to bore you with 600 other steps of how to. You guys can see my name on there. I've got my YouTube videos. I have a video specifically for this, so I'll make sure to share it with your market center that they can send out to you. And this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about inside of Bold, inside of all this stuff, is how do we take this technology? How do I make sure that I systematically follow up consistently? And I'm hearing from agents all over the world that are now getting so much more business because they never forget to do something. And with Command now taking a lot of this automation from me, I'm not dropping the ball anymore. So that's something I just wanted to share as kind of a quick tech tip. I'll pass it back over to Bill, and he's going to talk more about the value of why you should also join me and Bill in Bold.
Awesome. So thank you. So I'm not going to take a lot of time. One thing I do want you to know different about Bold, I talked to Dylan when I first came on. It's been a year since I've seen Dylan, and I had Dylan in Bold with me in Hamilton last year. Right, Dylan?
You bet.
And so everybody, what you may have remembered from the Bold experience is Bold comes to town once or twice a year. And the Bold coach comes in and you see us for 6 or 7 or 8 weeks. What I want you to know, and Dylan, I know you may not know yet, however, all the Bold coaches have been assigned market centers and regions. And because of my relationship with Canada and how much training I've done in Canada, I've actually been assigned to your market center as one of my 28 market centers. So I'm not just your partner for this Bold experience, I'm your partner for the next year or more.
Awesome.
Now, what I want you to know is what this means is it's not just about Bold. It's working together to partner together to bring value to you and your market center. What can we do to help you and your agents in your market center? And tips just like what Jay did are things that we're looking to do and implement to help bring value to you and your agents. Today, it just so happens that Bold is starting next week. So Adrian, did you have a comment on that?
No, I just said that's amazing. That sounds really neat because now we have like a direct contact to Bold right from where it all starts. So that's a whole new opportunity.
Absolutely. So KWRI.
A comment I'll make, Bill, is last year when we were in Hamilton, through the 7-week program of Bold, I actually did 17 additional transactions. So that was through the Bold that we did a lot in-person Bold. I think it was my 6th Bold. I've done one of the Bold pivots. I didn't do the second one, but I will definitely be doing this one. So very, very exciting to see the changes and how we can use technology and Command to be able to help with our follow-up.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And like Jay said a minute ago, it's 100 US. And I know we talk different when I'm working with Canada. It's 100 US, yet I'm going to share some things with Dylan offline to where we may even get that to 100 Canadian or less. Would that be exciting for y'all?
Woohoo!
And so you could possibly even get in for less than what they're paying in the US. And I'm going to share something with Dylan after I get off this call, after y'all finish. And I'm going to see if I can get that price down for you. Fair enough?
Great. Thanks, Bill.
Awesome. And so what I want to do is I just want to share with you, Jay shared a couple of things. One, we know that Digital Bold in October, so we've been tracking, and people that are taking Digital Bold are taking 14% more written contracts and 9% more written listings. Those are numbers that we know from Digital Bold. Now, when we're physically in the classroom, the numbers are different, yet in October of last year, I love that, Dylan. And so in October of last year, what we found, and it's actually over the last 2 years, is that 5% of all the agents in Keller Williams took Bold, and about 50% of the business done company-wide in October, November, December was done out of the Bold classroom. We know when you play all in, you take Bold and you play all in, you're going to get results. Now, today's date, just so you know, is January 13th. Today's date is January 13th.
Yeah.
You know, at Mega Camp, top agents at Mega Camp shared with us, they said they play hard October, November, December because that is their business for 2021. So we can go ahead and say goodbye to 2020 right now and go ahead and start saying hello to 2021. And the actions and activities we do today are going to show up first quarter. I just want everybody to be very focused on that. Does that make sense? Just give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Awesome. Now, here's the thing. Bold.kw.com, bold.kw.com is where you register for Bold. Yet, Dylan, I'm going to have a conversation with you, and you can share it with your agents. And before you register, I want to share this with Dylan so that Dylan has an opportunity to anybody that's interested in taking bold, email Dylan, and he will share with you what I'm going to share with him after y'all finish your town hall today. Fair enough? Does anybody have any questions for me or Jay before we go?
Can I clarify, you mentioned which bold was it that 5% of KW agents were in? Was that the one in the spring?
So in the physical bold, so last year when you were with me, the October-November bold that we're getting ready to go into, the physical bold for the last 2 years, 2018 and 2019, those were the results that we got. Now we know in the digital version, we're averaging 14% more contracts written, 9% more listings taken, and 121% more smart plans implemented as a result of bold.
Amazing. Awesome.
Anybody else?
I just want to say that I took bold with Bill in Hamilton last October, and it was a great experience, and we definitely saw an uptick in our business, and I'm looking forward to getting re-energized this fall to, you know, get back on those calls, make them consistent, and get the ball rolling again. So I look forward to it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, if you don't have anything else, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the bold classroom, and here's my email. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my email. It's william.hobbs, william.hobbs, Hobbs, at kw.com. William.hobbs at kw.com. Thank you, Jay, for putting that in there. Remember, I'm not just your bold coach for this experience. I am a part of your market center, a partner with your market center moving forward. And Dylan, Adrian, thank you so much. I look forward to partnering with you throughout the next 12 to 18 months.
Thanks. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for coming
Jay.
on. Appreciate
Awesome. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. And just a little shout out. Oh, there he goes. Darn. If anyone
No,
was
go right ahead.
at Mega Camp this past year, Jay was up on stage and he sang a song, and it was fantastic and really special and really neat. So just a little shout out to Jay for that.
Awesome. I'll let him know. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Super. Awesome. Good to have some friends from the South on a call with us. Just wanted to take a minute here to recognize anniversaries, and you will have received a handwritten note in the mail congratulating you on your anniversary with KW Neighborhood. And this month, so what we're doing basically is by month, there's Diane Leahy, Aaron Quinn, who's on the call right now. 7 years. Oh yeah. There we go. Michael Cambridge is also this month. He's one whole year in. Nadia Violo, sorry. Also a shout out to Nadia for doing her first transaction. Actually, she's a young mom and she's just in her first transaction. She is Laura's daughter, mother and daughter. Rory O'Brien. This is also he's on the call, and it's your anniversary month. Happy anniversary. Laura Bustamante. Daniela, we just celebrated Daniela's 3rd year. We had lunch together in the office here. Daniela's anniversary as well. Kat Lubienski and Joe Picosi, who was in earlier and is showing houses right now. So happy anniversary, everybody. Congratulations. Paige, do you want to take us through a few of the KW stats now?
Yes. Can everybody hear me? Thumbs up, because sometimes my computer audio is not great. Okay, great. So I closed the September month. So if you've been in the office, you've noticed that we profit shared 24,000 in profit share. So yay. We have a few stats that came out that I wanted to share with you. So we had our best month year to date in closed units, and we were up 73% over last September in closed units. So yay, congratulations to everyone out there doing deals and making it happen. Our closed sales volume was over 56 million in September and up 122%. So that's amazing. And one I'm super excited about, because it's now representing our future business, is contracts written was up 32.4% over last year. So we have some contracts written in September. So it's still going. So even though we closed, our highest month in close, we had a really good month in contracts written too, which will show up later in the year. And closed GCI, we had up 109% in closed GCI, which is the gross commission income that you all earned, which was over $1 million in September. So that's amazing. And going hand in hand with that is the paid on volume was over 700,000, which means that it went to Keppers. So yay! So I'm super excited to see all of you getting paid and growing your business, and we're so happy and excited for you. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have for the September stats. So keep on going, and as we go into Bold, we can have a strong fourth quarter.
Super, thanks, Paige. Awesome. So let's move it over to you guys a little bit and talk about the marketplace right now. What's happening, word on the street? Any circumstances that you've had in the past couple of weeks that you want to share with the group that you feel like would be of value to bring up with the group and have a discussion? Please go ahead and unmute yourself and share your story. It's also a time when you can share a new listing coming up or a particular property that you're looking for a buyer. This is our time to connect with everybody here.
I'll share an interesting experience, which is our team member Holly Chandler, because she did 2 deals, so it doesn't matter if it's a holiday, things keep happening. And one of the stories behind that was that she showed a property on Saturday and it didn't, and she called the agent to express interest that she was probably going to come in with a preemptive bid, and the guy's like, oh yeah, we've already got one and we're presenting it in 15 minutes. So it just sort of shows you that thank goodness she called, or else her buyer would not have had that opportunity to get in. It also shows you that that agent wasn't totally doing their due diligence, because he should have notified everybody who was showing it, or who sort of, was that Holly did notice is that she did get some sort of like group email, and I don't know which company is through, whether it was Broker Bay or not, but it went into her junk mail, so she didn't notice it on Saturday during that, during showings. So just make sure you actually phone or text or whatever a realtor if you have an interested buyer, or if you're the listing agent, make sure that you verify that everybody sort of gets the information, because it would have been very unhappy for our buyer if she hadn't known that. And then my other interesting experience, I'm 28 years in the biz. I've been around the block a few times, and I have to tell you, it's frightening when you list a property and you get no showing. So we have a new condo listing, and we talked about it last week in the mastermind that condos aren't really selling very well. Well, ours is not a typical condo. It's a loft, which are very popular. It's the kind that people want to move up to. It's very desirable and a really popular building. But I think a potential buyer is probably somebody who's coming from a condo, so they actually have to sell their condo before they can even see ours, because ours is, close to 1.6. But the point of the story is it's been on the market a week, and we've had 0 showings, like none, not one. So it's nerve-wracking as all hell. So I don't know if the condo market really has fallen off a cliff. I think it's a good reminder to keep in very close contact with your clients, which I am, and my client is totally fine and cool, but my God, it's nerve-wracking as all hell. And beware when you guys are listing properties right now to be extremely competitive price-wise, and set the expectation for sure for condos, because we've had probably 3 or 4, actually Holly sold a condo on the weekend for us, so thank goodness for that. And make sure, for example, you order your status certificate ahead of time so that the deal can be as firm as possible. And also just set your client expectations up a little bit so that they're not totally disappointed, because the last 2 condos we've had less than probably 5 showings or 6 showings on them, and they've sold, but not very many showings.
Thanks, Julie. That's definitely a hot topic because we've had a few of our realtors list condos recently and, you know, be really concerned with like no activity. So it's definitely a hot topic and something to be talking more about, whether it's within the WhatsApp groups or amongst ourselves. Here, it's definitely something on, you know, it's top of mind for a lot of realtors that are listing condos at the moment. Thank you. Is there anything else that someone wants to share in their dealings over the last couple of weeks?
Hey, Adrian. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I am just going to add in that I think I mentioned this on the last call about we're seeing a lot more listings coming on in our area. And so we're in W8 Etobicoke West Mall, right? And I didn't check today, but last check there was 13 listings in our area. I've never, ever seen that in 15 years, that many listings in our area. And everybody's listing at like 1.2 almost. There might be one for 1.15, but it's unheard of. So there's something going on. They're not selling for that either. But to have like 13 listings in this little community, never seen it before. So it's interesting to watch. Like it's shifting. There's a lot more choice, but everybody's still, I feel like, listing really high, and expectations are high right now.
Sellers' expectations.
Sellers' expectations, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like the way the market works basically is supply and demand. So the more supply there is, the softer it's going to be. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Yeah, and I noticed a difference from 3 months ago. Like you know, I'm this like it's like $100,000 up in 3 months. It's not realistic. Now I realize it's very location specific and so on, but just in my little pocket over here, it's really obvious. Like it's really interesting to watch this happen because they're not going to get those prices. A lot of them, they're not.
And a comment on that as well that I experienced from the very beginning with listings is 10 days or 10 showings with no offer and your price too high. Now that's not across the board no matter what. There's different types of opportunities, but if you're looking at a standard listing that you're seeing move pretty quick, especially in today's market, if it's 10 days on the market and you have no showings or no offers, then it might be worth a conversation with your sellers. And talking about seller expectations, this is an opportunity for you to include that in your listing presentation. So when you go in initially and you state, we will be circling back. I've actually done it where I've signed the amendment of a price reduction when I signed the listing that day. And so it's 10 days or 10 showings, and I'm not going to execute it if we have conversations on offers. However, it sets the expectation with your seller up front that, sure, we'll list it at 1.2 if you really decide, that's your choice. And we're going to do a price reduction to 1.1 in 10 days if we don't have an offer or any showings. And that sets the seller up for an expectation ahead of time because we are in a very fast moving market that if you wait 30 days or 45 days, you may have missed the opportunity to sell that home. So it's really important to set that expectation up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we know that we've got lots coming down the chute. We were talking earlier today that we've got the elections coming up, and we know that Canadians follow the American elections closely. It's always a time of year where you know, real estate might slow a little bit right around the elections. So as people are kind of getting a sense of what's going to happen and what that might mean for us and how it might affect us. We're also in a pandemic at the moment, a worldwide one that, you know, can affect obviously people's deciding decisions and things that they're doing. And then we're heading into a new year really soon. As Bill just mentioned, we're 90 days out from the new year, and everything we do today is going to affect what happens in the new year. But again, we don't know yet as far as job losses and what's going to happen with the economy. We do know that interest rates are extremely low, which is continuing to drive the market where we are specifically in Toronto, which has been great for us. But again, some unknowns that could affect things as we move forward.
I recall last year at this time, everybody was kind of moving towards the possible interest rate hikes or moving up in interest rates. And So there seemed to be a lag time to deciding whether to go into the market or not to sell. And then when January came along, boy, it was like almost like the same as 2017. And interest rates were, all of a sudden we knew that interest rates weren't going to go up. So the activity was strong. I would say right now I'm hearing a lot anyhow from people, what's going to happen? Like it's this second wave, the market, the economy is going to go for a shit. And possibly that same kind of attitude is a hold off, or coming anyhow, a hold off to find out what's going to happen in the new year or after the election. I think we'll be fine though. I think, we just rock and roll in Toronto. It should be just fine.
Does anybody have any listings coming up that they want to share with the group? Active listings or ones that are coming out really soon?
We have 149 Allenhurst that just came live on MLS today. It's in the Edenbridge neighborhood, 3-bed, 2.5 baths, beautiful lot. It needs some updates. It's got a beautiful backyard though. It's just the positioning of it, where it's located, and the lot that it's on is it's going to attract people. We listed it at $999. We're going to have an offer date next week, and we're already getting lots of showings. So it's a perfect family home for someone to move into and put their own touch on it.
Great. Thanks, Rory.
I was also curious.
Sorry, go ahead, Rory.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just curious what everyone's thoughts were on the condo market as a possible investment going forward opportunity if it continues to turn into a buyer's market, and the conditions we're experiencing now are temporary. We don't know how long they'll last, but what's anyone's take on that? Like anytime a product in Toronto, starts to drop in price, is that an opportunity for somebody to get in? I know lease rates have dropped a bit, but again, that's due to like a lot of units coming online in Toronto, and of course the slow in immigration and the current pandemic. But does anyone see an opportunity there as an investment, or something you'd want to stay away from for a while?
Dylan, aren't you the expert on all this?
Hey, I was actually going to jump in if everyone else is done with listing comments, because yes, I love investments. Personally, I've avoided condos as investments myself, just because of what we're really talking about right now. However, I do think there's an opportunity, especially for people who may not have been able to afford the condo market or any housing market over the past 1, 3, 5 years, where they've been priced out. I've had a number of conversations with people in Toronto over the last few years that have said, well, I've grown up in the city my whole life and I'm renting, and now I'll never be able to buy because of the fact that prices continue to skyrocket and immigration's coming in. I mean, how I see things right now is that the borders are closed, for lack of a better term. And if we're going to go through something where we're doing all these different financial incentives, where we're boosting the economy through government grants and government incentives, the government's going to have to make that back. And I know that the Trudeau government has been very constant with large immigration numbers. So if and when we do get past what we currently are in with COVID, I do believe there is going to be an influx of immigration. And when immigrants do come over, they tend to come over to Vancouver and Toronto, which the reason why we've been seeing constant expanding through outside of those areas is because we have people in Toronto moving outside. And I just noticed, Carla wrote, personally, I don't think everyone is trying to leave Toronto for money. It's an option. I think that might be an opportunity where as more people immigrate to Toronto, they're going to be picking up the condos. So I don't know what the timeline would be. Maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 5 years. I really can't determine that. That's that crystal ball conversation you can't determine. However, I do think that real estate over the last 100 years has gone up 7.2% annually. So if you look over a long period of time and you're willing to wait it out, you will still see appreciation. And if there is opportunity for your buyers that are still working downtown, if they're not leaving Toronto, instead of renting, they may be able to purchase. And this may be an opportunity where if you can get a property 15, 20% under what it was a month or two ago or 6 months ago, that might be an opportunity for you as an agent to help a family that like to have home ownership.
Yeah, I feel like an obstacle to buying condos as investment as of late is because of how much the values have gone up and making the numbers work. So having a 1-bedroom that will pay, the mortgage, the maintenance fees, the taxes, is not easy to do. It's not actually easy to find a place that does that anymore. It used to be okay back when this, the big boom started, construction started, but I feel like most of the people buying then were mostly like a lot of overseas investors that weren't just buying one unit, they were buying a whole bunch of units. And so that's a completely different ballpark, right? So right now, I feel like where there could be opportunity is to watch the condos that aren't the typical 4 walls, high towers. So watch the units that have more, either a history to them or a story, those ones that aren't moving for some reason right now, or if their values seem to be a bit lower. Those would be the ones that will always kind of maintain or go up in value. And those are the ones that I feel like would be the ones to invest in, versus just the pie in the sky. Because I feel like you need to do a whole bunch of those to be able to make the numbers work.
And another comment on that too is that even 6-8 months ago, we were looking at interest rates for in the mid to high threes as an A lending. Like, I mean, I'm seeing banks that were posted rates at almost 4%, where posted rates now are sub 2% sometimes. So what it also gives us the opportunity of is you may be able to go to a B lender, you may be able to go to not a conventional 5 bank, and you could go to someone like ICIC or credit union that may be a little bit more flexible on your credit or more flexible on your down payment. And instead of seeing an interest rate that's 1 or 2% higher than a Scotia bank that puts you at 5 or 6, that just makes it impossible, those rates are coming in the 3s, 3.5. And so it still makes it that not just your major bank rates are still affordable for someone if they can get a 15 or a 20% discount on the price and a 1 or 2% increase over what an A lending rate would be. It's still better than what it was 8 months ago or a year ago. And this is from some different lenders that might be more flexible, that give a different total debt service, that give you a little bit more flexibility on what you qualify for. So keep in mind that when partnering with a great mortgage broker, which I know we have one in the office, that you will be able to be more creative with financing and help more people get into properties. One other comment I was going to make on that is we had talked about listings, and for some strange reason, a lot of my investor clients decided they're going to list their duplexes. So just last week, from Wednesday to Friday, I ended up getting 8 new listing calls that'll be going live over the next month. 5 of them are investment properties. So I know a number of you have reached out to me regarding what is a good investment. We will, in our Tuesday morning sessions, we'll go over some different investment strategies over the coming months. However, I do have 3 legal accessory suites, they're called. They're not duplexes in St. Catharines, but legal accessory suites where they have rental income in the 3,000 range, 3.5, 3,500 or so, plus hydro. That'll be all listed under 600,000. We just signed paperwork on 3 of them this morning. They're going live on Wednesday or Thursday this week. So if you have clients that are looking to exit the city and get some kind of cash flow, instead of a single income of a condo, there are multiple incomes where they have an upstairs and a downstairs unit under 600,000. So I'm more than happy to walk any of you through exactly what that would look like and do a one-on-one conversation, or explain how you can have some investors invest outside of the city and really walk you through that whole process. I'm more than happy to have that conversation. And if you want to learn more about investing, happy to have that too. So there are a number of investment properties that are coming up that usually I don't see. So legal second suites, legal duplexes. There's even one in Hamilton that's stunning that'll be listed at $725. So these are some properties that one's going to bring in over $4,000 a month in rent.
Awesome, Fred.
I'm wondering,
I was just going to add that.
Okay. I was wondering, Dylan, you say 5 or 8 coming on all at once. Is there a common reason that the investors are divesting themselves of the units? Is there a higher demand right now for people coming from Toronto going to that region? Like, why would all of a sudden the investors be offloading in a sense?
So there's a couple of things. 3 investors have 5 properties. So I have 8 total listings that I got late last week, and 5 of them are directly investment properties that are 2 units. One investor is selling his 2 and 3 unit apartments, 2 and 3 unit houses to go and purchase apartment buildings. So he's looking at a 6 to 10 unit apartment building. So he's kind of doing the monopoly play where he's selling his 4 houses to buy an apartment building. That's his concept. One of my other investors that has a bunch in St. Catharines, she's actually from north of Barrie, and she's in Kingston, she's in Hamilton, she's in St. Catharines, and she's actually selling the St. Catharines ones because she wanted to cash out to move to a new city. So she's actually purchasing in a new city. So she wanted to have her capital to go and buy because she was going to a lower price point. That there's some risks associated to that, but she's a full-time investor that has 100+ houses. So it's a little different than the world that she's in. But those are turnkey 2 units that she was never intending on selling, that she's doing because she's going to a new market that she wants to have more capital for. And then the third sale is actually a first-time investor that I worked through that bought a property about 1.5 years ago that's had a large construction company for years. And to be totally honest, he over-improved. He over-renovated on the property, and it's absolutely stunning. I would probably recommend it as a family looking to subsidize their cost of living, because they could live upstairs in the 3-bedroom and rent out the 2-bedroom downstairs, probably for almost $2,000 a month plus hydro, and cover 70% of their living expenses. So my primary residence in Burlington, I Airbnb my basement apartment that it's a legal 2 unit. I finished it 1 year ago, and I get $3,500 a month. So my roughly $1 million legal suite, legal duplex in Burlington is, my mortgage is $2,700 and my rent each month is $3,500. So I live for free in a property that I fully renovated. So that's his strategy. So I think that it's not a matter of them being afraid of the market as much as it is their current situations and why they are liquidating. 2 of them are actually looking at buying other units in different type of investments. The one is actually looking at just flipping at this point in time. So he liked the renovation process and wants to continue to do that as opposed to tenant it.
Jackie and I have a client who does have some cash and has us looking out for a condo that he could invest in. But what I'm hearing is maybe it's a possibility, rather than being in Toronto looking for an investment, to move out to a rural area, or smaller town area, to Toronto, which might be a good opportunity for him.
I actually had 5 referrals last week alone for buyers from Toronto, from some of my Toronto agent referral partners that were saying they're ready to invest, they have cash, they sold something downtown and they want to invest in Hamilton or St. Catharines. What do you have? And the one thing that I do offer, and as I mentioned, I'm happy to walk through with any of you, is I've created an incredible power team around me that it's a done for you package. I have investors that are in Vancouver, some in Montreal, some from all across Canada that just tell me what they have. We hop on a 45-minute call. I get an idea of capital they have, of available mortgage balance, and then they use my mortgage broker, my lawyer, my property manager, my contractors. The whole process is done for them. So given what they're looking for, we can find them that exact unit. And when you provide that kind of value to a client, you get repeat clients over and over and over again.
The beauty too of having a 2 or 3 unit property is that you've always got at least 1 or 2 of the units rented. So as there is turnover, at least some money's coming in with the condo when that person's moving out. If it's usually a single condo, obviously, that's where you could have some delay in rents there. So that's another thing to consider with the multi-res units. They're more work for sure, but.
And we have a solution for that.
Yes, of course. Anything else anyone wants to chat about? It's so much fun. I think Lizanne and Julie, weren't you guys trying to talk?
My only advice is that, or sort of whatever awareness, is that nobody can market. And, you know, like we say, oh, it's not a good time. But then by the time we figure out that it is a good time, then the market surpassed us already. And, you know, kind of what Dylan said, there's definitely an upside to real estate market, and that's cool. So for your investors or whatever, you know, this softness in the condo market could be a massive
Sorry, Jules, you're
opportunity for people who are willing to go, you know, lemmings, and we all go, oh, that was oh, you can't hear me? Damn it. Sorry, I had great advice. I'll share it another time.
I had one comment about the condo conversation we were having a while back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, we're driving out to Pickering to take pictures of the leaves for our listing. But my point is, I live in a condo now, and you know when you price condos, it usually goes up X amount per floor, and the higher floors are more valuable. When you've got a buyer client, especially if they haven't lived in a condo before, given COVID and the discussions that this may not be our only time around this, sorry, I couldn't get off here. You might want to start looking at the lower floors, like 6 or below, because, sorry, just a second here. Because people are going to want access to the stairs. The elevators are a big problem in condos right now when we have the COVID situation. So they may want, can you hear me?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, okay. So it'll be interesting to watch whether the pricing changes for the lower priced condos as opposed to the upper floor condos. As well, with the prices going down, there may be a huge opportunity for people that can only afford 1 bedrooms to get the 2-bedroom condo. And if you're going to be working from home, then that can be a really big win for people that may want to either trade up to a 2-bedroom or get into the market, the condo market. And I think that the 2-bedroom condos are going to hold their prices a lot better than the 1-bedroom and the 500 square foot condos. That was all I had to say.
Thank you.
What I'm really hearing here is something that reminds me of the course I took this past weekend. I was in Tony Robbins Leadership Academy this weekend, and they kept bringing on speakers. And one speaker they brought on that was really powerful, her name is Vernice Flygirl Armour, and you can check her out online if you'd like to. She has an Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. But she actually was the first African American in the Air Force, in the United Air Force, and all the obstacles that she overcame to get that. And a comment that she mentioned that I actually shared on my Facebook that was really powerful for me a couple of days ago was that opportunities always come disguised as challenges. And we're in a time in our life and in real estate and in this economy that we're in that we are dealing with a number of challenges on a daily basis. And if we, as Julie mentioned, if we wait until all of a sudden we have all the evidence to make a decision, we may miss that opportunity. We may miss the market. So when you are talking to investors or you are talking to your clients and they're concerned of what's going to happen right away, you can always remind them that March and April of 2020 was the best time to buy in all of 2020. And then all of a sudden May hit and it was too late, and prices were going up 3, 4, 5% a month. So what I did notice with a lot of my clients is they were a little hesitant in March and April, which I totally appreciate and understand. Play devil's advocate on it. Because opportunities will come disguised as challenges. So it's a matter of setting your clients up for the expectation on, we're going in and making this purchase, or we're going in and making this sale, and this is what we know right now, and things do change day to day. So when you're looking at making an investment property purchase, I would recommend looking at the 5-year plus term. I probably would not recommend a flip right now, personally. That's just something that I would put out there. So if we're looking at a duplex or a triplex or a condo even, 5 years from now, the chances of prices going lower than what they are right now, given the history we've had, is probably a lot lower than the chances of it going up.
Yeah, great. Super, thanks everybody for participating and sharing. Is there anything else that anyone wanted to talk about today? So from us here at headquarters, Keller Williams Neighborhood Realty, to all of you out there, thanks for being here today. For those of you that joined us this morning at 10:30, thank you. We look forward to our 10:30 sessions on Tuesday mornings. That's Facebook Live.
And you can go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, if you didn't, we're also recording today. So this will be posted on our KW and our agent site as well. And then in between the town halls is the mastermind, and that's for everybody to join in who wants to, where we get a bit more into the nitty gritty and connect. So thank you. Have an awesome afternoon and a great week. We'll have a note out to you on Friday, and we'll see you live again next Tuesday. Thanks, everybody.